Hello, true art believers, and welcome to today's live art stream. I hope you are having a wonderful day right now. I hope you're having a wonderful day right now. It is day 200 of 200 days of drawing. Very exciting. So this is the last day that I'm going to be doing a cactus live, and I have I don't know what I have up in store later on. I think I'm just going to kind of improv. I'll talk about it later. Let's begin today's drawing. Let's get this drawing on the road and get it to the end of what I'm trying to think, like the end of the station, end of fruition. Anyways, let's go. Start. All right. I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is Pierson here. Got music in the background, and it's like chatter. It's like chatter in my head. Um, so let's hit the time lapse button and let's start it. Let's get it going today. Now, I'd like to say like this is going to be a special event, but not really. It's going to be just another day in paradise. Boom, green, and I'm going to have my cactus here. So here we go. Start it up. All right, today. Oh God, these things in my face. Okay, here we go. All right, so note to self. Note to self, don't have any music in the background unless it's just pure silence. So like I've been trying to do background music and it's just been like it just hasn't been working out. Like every time I try doing background music in drawing, what happens is I'm using like the free version of Spotify, and so what happens is like right when I start doing something, like there is a conversation happening in the background, and it's distracting. So I'm trying to talk, but basically I'm hearing a bunch of people talk behind me. And so I'm trying to talk, have a conversation with myself, or trying to have a conversation during the live stream, but there's basically chatter happening in the hello there, how are you doing? There's chatter happening in the headphones when I'm trying to do these live streams, and I'm like, man, I can't think with this all this background noise. All right, so now we're just going to do the pot. And this is what I've been doing lately. This is the last time I'm doing this. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Hope you enjoy the drawing process. I'm going to be doing a cactus here. Um, Drake and Josh. Is that still going? Is that a cartoon? Is that a cartoon? It's got to be a cartoon, isn't it? New jokes for an animation. Drake and Josh. Oh, it's a live action show. I thought that was a what am I thinking Phineas and Ferb? I'm thinking Phineas and Ferb. I'm thinking Phineas and Ferb. That's what I'm thinking as far as like jokes. I mean as far as like I'm mistaken Phineas and Ferb with Drake and Josh. I'm like so I am so not with it with like TV shows. I don't know. I just don't know what shows are popular anymore. Not that I really knew back in the day, but like I just didn't know. All right, so we're just gonna do this. What color I want to use? I'm just gonna go ahead and do yellow here today. I don't really like this. It's funny that the last cactus drawing that I am gonna do is not gonna be the greatest one. It's just kind of like I find that rather humorous that that's gonna be what's happening. I think maybe because my last few cactus drawings I've been getting a little bit not antsy, but I've been changing the way that I've been doing each time, the last few ones. And the last this next iteration I have been basically I started out doing a drawing the rectangle first for the cactus. And historically, when I did these drawings, I always did the what would you call it? The cactus first. So I was always working with the cactus first. And now I'm doing the pot first, or basically this rectangular box, which is going to be the pot. And what that has done is it's shifted the dichotomy, the dynamic, and it's caused me to kind of like struggle with how I'm going to approach these drawings. To some degree, it's been nice. In other areas, it's been kind of difficult doing them. I don't know why. It's just been very. I'm just having just tweaking this change has caused problems. So one thing that's been good from it is the perspective is a little bit cleaner. The thing that I'm struggling with is because I do that, I make that the first object, it's usually drawn larger, and that affects the scale of my cactus. So I've been making my cactuses like stockier. I don't know. I have a tendency to make things like just overly large when I'm drawing them, like exaggeration. I think it's probably because when I was a kid, I drew like I don't know, the thing, right? No, I would draw comic characters, and you always exaggerate in proportions, and so that's probably like my whole shtick there is drawing exaggerated proportions, and so that's what's been happening. Okay, there you go. Kind of get this here. Yeah, buddy. So hopefully it'll turn out. I don't know. I'm already having troubles. I think the reason why I'm having trouble is because my last cactus, it's the last of a generation, man. And like there's this subconscious deal that I'm struggling with, like the subconscious area that I'm struggling with, and I want the drawing, I want the final cactus to be the best cactus, but that's not going to happen. There's some ones that are really good, or that really worked really well, and this one's going to be probably in the middle, maybe in the middle, in the middle. Yeah, I think it's going to be in the middle. It's going to be one of those middling ones. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I I always say that with my drawing because like unlike other artists, I never know like the final outcome. Or maybe the other artists are always kind of lying to the viewer. They're always like, I know exactly what's going to happen to this drawing from the very beginning. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, how do you not know what's going to happen? I have an idea. I have an idea what's going to happen, but I don't know what's going to look like. I just don't. It's not that. It's just a cactus. I don't really I just don't think about it that much. Like, why don't you think about your cactus drawings that much? I don't know, bro. I just don't. I just don't think about cactus drawings all day long. I'm thinking about like just getting by with the day. Here's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about like how am I going to when I'm doing my before I do my live, I'm thinking about like when am I going to do my live? Or like I'm thinking when will I have time to do my live? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, will I have enough time to do my live today? You know? I'm thinking stuff like that. Like, is there going to be time in the day for me to do my live stream? That's what I'm really thinking about. Is there going to be is it going to be is there going to be a enough time for me to get up and do my live? And that's really what I'm worried about throughout the day. I'm not thinking about like um I'm not really thinking about anything else other than like am I going to be able to make my live in for the day? So I'm not really thinking about like, oh, the intricacies of my cactus drawing, like, how like I'm not thinking about that. I probably should. Maybe in the future I'll be able to get to that point. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I always like to do a little dark tone somewhere. There we go. Put a little bit of that dark tone there, and then we're gonna even go further and add like a black tone there. We'll leave it like that. That's fine. If I get too fancy with it, then I'm like playing around with the tones too much, and I don't want to mess with that. That's don't. Well, here we go. We're in for the final parts. We've established a background, and that's good. Now we're gonna lock the pixels here, and we're just gonna go at it like this. We're gonna lock the pixels here. And so what I do here is I really make the front end of my little pot area dark, and then I kind of lighten it up at the back side. So I'll make it a little bit darker right here. Kind of do a little bit dark. Nope, that's too dark. And then we kind of lighten it up. Just maybe do something like that. Zoom in. Live action show. Is it a new season? Made some new jokes for an animation. An animation. What kind of jokes are they? Are they funny jokes? All right, let's get this going here. All right, I'm going to leave it like that because I'm struggling today. Leave it to me that I'm always doing something a little bit different with each one of my cactus drawings. There's always a little bit I'm approaching it at a different like angle each time. And so with this one I'm using a larger brush. I'm using the same brush, but I'm using it at a bigger scale than what I normally do. And shame on me, really. Do something like that. And then we're going to go and do another layer on there. And then I'm going to take this, and do that's too dark. Maybe this. There we go. Get that. And then we erase this area. But yeah, so this is the last day. I think what I'm going to do now is I've been having my eyes set on doing 100 more days of like clouds. I think I'll have fun with that. I think what that'll do is will give me practice with a different brush, like a soft round brush to kind of create this like nice cloud effect. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that it's gonna be make be fun. So I'm gonna watch a few tutorials on how to draw some clouds. I have some experience doing them, but I'm gonna see how other people are doing, how other people do clouds, and just kind of go from there, and then we'll see what happens. And I imagine I'm gonna be doing about 100 of those. So I'm gonna do 100 clouds starting tomorrow. And then probably after that, I've been thinking about this, maybe like 100 rocks or like 100 seascapes. I don't know. I can see my clouds morphing into like kind of like abstract landscapes with I can see them morph into like abstract landscapes, to be honest with you. That's what I see them morphing into, is that like an abstract landscape with like I guess I don't know. Let's see. What would they morph into? I had some idea that I would put like mountains or something in the background of these landscapes. I had this crazy idea of doing that. I had a crazy idea, and I thought it'd be super cool. So I love putting these like hyper saturated colors here. I'm even going to put it right here because I want it to kind of jut out of that yellow. And put a little bit right here. And then what I'll do is I'll do like a dark red right here. And then we'll do like some little marks here. No, 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 no. We won't do that. We'll make it dark. Make it dark teal, kind of put like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and put some. Gonna play around some hatching here. Do some little hatchy work here with a smaller brush. So this is also new. I'm gonna at the very least with this last live stream or this last day, it's gonna have some different way approaches. Anyways, I think that's good. Let's do a little bit of yellow. Put a little yellow here. You know, something like that. Maybe some little bit pink too. And then maybe like a dark pink. Something like that, yeah. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of dark pink on there, kind of for fun. All right. I think something like a little scuffling. Like, yeah, I think that's good. Alrighty then. Let's go and do the sand here. How's the sand here? All right, let's press E. We're going to erase some of the sand on this right side here, on this left side, sorry. You think after doing so many of these, I would be like not nervous, but for some reason today, I'm exceptionally nervous. Like I really am. I don't know why. I think it has to do with the fact it's the last day of this series, and leave it to the fact that it's the last day of the series that I'm struggling to articulate some ideas. Um, yeah, just leave it to that. Like, oh yeah, let's just on the last day that you have these, you're doing these things, this type of drawing, you're gonna mess up the most. That just seems, hey there, this just seems like the most logical thing to do is to have these problems. Yeah, so they have all this like these shenanigans happening today. But you know what? It's not like it's not abnormal for me. So we got some things going on. We're gonna be doing some dark tones. Oh, totally forgot to do something. We'll fix that. Now I know I need it. Now I know what I need to do here. It's going all right. Last day 200. Day 200. I can't believe it. Well, I can, but I can't. So I'm doing pretty good because I got day 200 almost like I'm about 30 minutes away from doing my day 200, and then I'm going to go ahead and really make things worse again and do another 100 days. I don't know. We'll see. I think I will do it. I think I'm going to. I'm not wanting to, but I think if I stop, then I'll feel sad. I think I'll feel like a little bit like sad if I stop the drawing train, you know. So here we go. I think this is good. What I'm gonna do now is something I've been doing a lot lately is kind of adding some. I know. Thank you. I think I'm gonna do another art giveaway after once I get my next I'm drawing a huge blank here today actually. Once I get my next batch of 100 started, 100 days of drawing and started, um that's when I'll do it. Yeah. I think we're gonna add some teal. Yeah, we'll add teal there. I like teal better. Just pops more. There we go. So that's what I think I'll do is do another art giveaway, and then we'll see what happens. Do another art giveaway. I'm really excited about that. Let's give away free art. So I'll do that. You know, I'm gonna do an art giveaway, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be rewarding. So here we go. Kind of add this shadow here, and then make this area even darker. There we go, something like that. I think that'll be good. Maybe even a little bit darker in the back, so it's a little bit more color variety. And then we're going to zoom in right here. And we're going to take this tone here, kind of reintroduce it right here. Zoom out, yeah, and we'll leave it like that, so it's kind of like a shadow. I'm drawing the most, what's it called, like a brain fart or like a stall? I am stalling on my thoughts today. And it's not good for, that's not good. I think the reason why my mind is like moving a mile a minute, and I'm just thinking about like, okay, what's next? What's next between this whole process? What do I do next? You know, so the next step really is an art giveaway. The next step is an art giveaway. Okay. All right. I'm losing my train of thought here because this is oops. Definitely losing my train of thought. I feel like I'm making a lot of errors today, and that is atypical, and that's not funny. There we go. I had like a long day today. You ever had those days where like you've done so much, and at the end of the day you're unable to think thoughts. No, you're unable to like formulate complex sentences, or just to think. Really, you're like, oh, I just don't feel like thinking. It's like it's his own little beast. And so right now I'm struggling just to comprehend like what I'm thinking at the moment. And with these live streams, you're almost on the line to come up with something. It's almost like you have to. Um, and I just don't have anything at the moment. I really don't. And I feel a little bit upset that I'm not coming up with anything of pertinence to say. I guess right now, because it's the last day of this series, I'm just like at disbelief, a little bit disbelief, and also there's a little bit of anxiety in tied with that because of of just there we go of the fact that I'm like there's like an into the story, and then I'm worried about like, okay, will I be able to do what's the next part of this series that I'm doing, right? I'm just concerned a little bit. I'm just thinking about like, okay, what do I need to do after this? This is a big deal, man. You know, to do 100 days, to do 200 days. It's a big deal for me, not necessarily like individuals that are able to stream every day. Uh but like it is for me, because there's just so much going on in my day to day that I find it's a miracle, in my opinion, that I'm able to just kind of get in these drawings. It's a miracle, and I think it's almost like I'm just gritting my teeth to get them done. Like it's just hard, like pure effort, and pure just perseverance, and it's just like amazing in my opinion. All right, so now what I'm doing, I think what I'm gonna start doing is just talk about this thing. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing a layer underneath those lines that you saw me make, and that layer is kind of just acting as a dark tone, and then I'll eventually blend all this together. As a matter of fact, I'm slowing down. I'm not feeling confident today. I don't have a lot of confidence. Maybe that's why I'm kind of fumbling my words. I'm lacking confidence today. Just lacking a little bit of confidence, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit tired, a little bit of like low energy today, and just this knowing that there's this is the end of the tunnel, really, right? And I think that might be part of it, right? So now I'm gonna kind of I'm just gonna play around. I was feeling so much better at day 199, really. I was feeling really good at 199. I was feeling really good at 199. I think because it wasn't 200, and I started establishing this new method, and it was working really well. 199 had some really nice marks being made. And now that I'm talking about it, talking about making these nice marks, I feel like something's happening. Something's happening. It's taking me away from it's separating my subconscious from the stumbling of my words like 5 seconds earlier. So I feel a little bit better. I'm kind of scumbling the marks on here, being very loose, being very, very, very gestural with the marks, and shrinking the brush ever so subtly each time, and trying to just kind of make the tones a little bit brighter each time, just the tones a little bit brighter, and just kind of like patting the area a little bit, and not holding each area too precious. So that's what I'm doing right now, is kind of moving the brush along the surface and hoping that the final result is going to just kind of come together, and not holding the area too precious. And when I say that, is like when you are hoping or thinking about the piece as like this, you want it to be a masterpiece, and you start thinking about like, oh no, I got this piece has to be perfect. This piece has to be the greatest piece I've done up until this point. And once you start doing that and kind of putting it on a pedestal, what happens is like your like subconscious mind starts to lock up. And that's what I was finding that was happening earlier on. And I think maybe talking about it is kind of helpful right now. And also the fact that I'm moving around, moving my brush around, there's something psychological happening. I feel it. I feel it. Um, of course, I'm still saying a lot of ums. But that's better than being like, what am I doing? Is this a good idea? So now we're just kind of like patting the brush, and add like little flecks of like higher lights, like highlights, not higher lights, but like they're highlights, but like little flecks of light in certain areas. And then I'm going to eventually blend these areas together on a final layer, you know? So I'm kind of like patting it, I guess, with my stylus. I'm kind of patting it, pat, 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 patty, pat, pat, patty cake, patty cake. Pat a cake, pat a cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it, pat it, pat it, what's pat it and prick it and mark it with was it with B. Put it in the oven for baby and me. I think that's what that song. The song. There you go. You just heard a song today. You're welcome. So I'm being extra like very loose, very gestural. So I actually like this method a little bit more. So now I really feel a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better where it's at. So because of that, I'm feeling a little bit more confident. I have a little bit more confidence, and that confidence is kind of portraying in the drawing itself. So this drawing is going to be like a 50-minute drawing, simply because it took me a while to kind of start up. I actually fumbled my words at the beginning of this live stream. It was very disappointing because I've done so many of them. I was normally what I do at these live streams, I have like music in the background, but sometimes ads pop up or like start playing at the beginning, and normally those ads are annoying. They start talking. They're like, "Hey, you like KFC chicken. Like, not really. Well, maybe you like to buy the KFC chicken for $5.99 with their biscuit platter or something. I don't know, whatever they're feeding me, whatever they're advertising on there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I hear that in the background, and it's like distracting me. So I hear that, and I'm like, oh great, oh great. Now I have an ad going on while I'm talking, doing the intro of my live stream, and then all of a sudden, like, I just lose like my train of thought. All right, so here we go. That's the last layer of that. Now we're gonna, not the last layer, but now we're gonna go micro. We're gonna zoom in here. We're gonna zoom in, and we're gonna really up the contrast. So first things first is I typically kind of blend these areas a little bit more. So it's going to get really dark, and then it's going to get lighter again. So I typically kind of blend the dark tones first. Let's zoom out some. Again, I don't want to get too micro. All right, so zoom out. Tell you what, though, it's been a long day. I've been everywhere today. Been everywhere. You ever have those days you just kind of like you just jump from location to location? That's what I did, is just jump from location to location today. So there's that. And so it's kind of like a little bit tired, a little bit of anxiety today because of this live stream. I was like, oh, I was kind of don't get me wrong. I was bumping it. I was procrastinating. I was bumping it to the end. I was like, you know what? I'll do it a little bit later. I'll do it a little bit later. I was procrastinating hard on doing this live stream. Part of me didn't want to do it. Part of me was like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to do it. It's just don't do it. I don't know why I didn't want to finish it. I think the reason why, because if I finished it, then I'd have to start a new thing. I'd have to start a whole new thing. And a part of me just didn't want to start a whole new thing. Like, deep down inside, I didn't want to start a whole new thing. And I was like, please don't. I was fighting myself. I was like, just don't do this. And my inside my subconscious man was like, dude, just stop being a wimp, man. Just go ahead and do it. Like, it's just a drawing, man. What do you have to lose? Like, I'll tell you what you have to lose: embarrassing yourself online forever. Like, oh, but I've done it so many times already. I've already embarrassed myself so many times. There's not many more times I can embarrass myself here, Chief. Not many more times. Not many more. I can only go up. That's all that can happen. Like, there's like I can only go up. The sky's the limit, and right now I'm about I'm like 4 feet above my head, so I'm almost at the ceiling. I'm almost at the ceiling. So right now I'm just kind of playing around with tones. I'm just kind of doing a lot of color testing and kind of blending those tones together. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing, blending these tones together into like when I get to certain type of marks that I feel are visually pleasing, and then I kind of move to another area. And it's not like a math problem. I just kind of like, if I kind of go with feeling a little bit. If it's like, okay, this feels about right. And so that's what I do. Yeah, yes, you have what? Had those days? Yeah, I've had a ton of those days. I don't know. I've had a ton of bad days. Actually, I listened to this this comedian the other day. I think his name's Seguro. Seguro. Anyways, Tom Seguro, and he was talking about, like, I don't know what's bringing it. It happens a lot. Oh man, he was talking about how, like, whenever you ask someone how they're doing today, and they tell you exactly how they're doing, he's like, you're not supposed to do that. That's not what you're supposed to do. So, like, it's like the correct answer is I'm doing fine or good. It's not tell your the world or tell that person like exactly how you're doing, because a lot of us have bad days. You're like you're like and whenever you ask someone how they're doing and they like literally start telling you their like the innermost secrets of their day, like, whoa, I only you're like an acquaintance at best. I only known you for 5 minutes here, sir. I know, I just feel like telling you my life story. It is very hard to go with the flow. It's the worst. It takes a while for me to get going. Sometimes I can get going in 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes me like 50. And this is one of those times where it takes me 50. So right now I'm just kind of like color swabbing. I'm doing the eyedrop tool and just kind of blending some of these areas together with the brush. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm pressing, so when I press too hard, this happens. I'm not doing that. I'm pressing very lightly and kind of patting it at like broad strokes, you know. And that's what I'm doing. Just kind of playing around with the tones, getting to an area, getting to a rough blended state that I like. You'd think after doing 200 of these, I'd be a lot better, but it seems that I'm only a little bit better at talking via live stream. I don't understand why. It's like there's days where I'm really focused, like laser guided. I got this. I'm like, I got this, bro. I got this. And then there's other times like, what is happening? The drawing's not going on. I'm so thirsty. My mouth is dry. I'm cotton mouth. I'm tired. I need some coffee. I don't have any clothes on. Well, I do have clothes on. I'm kidding. Everyone's gonna laugh at me because I'm not wearing clothes. Ever do that? Some people do that. They imagine themselves without clothes. What was this? I heard a story of musicians. They'll write their music without clothes on. That's they'll write their music. They'll write music without clothes on, um, because it's like they're making themselves vulnerable. Um, yeah. So I can see that. I have yet to do that. I have yet to go to my basement and just decide that this be the choice to make, to be very uncomfortable and just be incredibly cold, because the studio is very cold and I don't want to do that. So I'm just comfortable wearing clothes when I paint. Some people don't wear clothes when they paint. So yeah, I know, right? Oh gosh. Well, it's turning out pretty good. I'm just being extra like cautious, I guess. I guess. I'm being extra cautious. Cautious. I like overemphasize the words cautious. Cautious. I'm doing like a Sean Connery voice. Cautious. Never mind. I think he passed away. But anyways, you think after doing 200 of these, I'd be much better at the process? Um, Not really, because I think I've spoken about this before. I'm like one of those people, those artists and individuals in general, where some people it takes them like 50 tries to become an expert. It takes me 500 and in one. Actually, I'm being generous. It takes me 500,000 tries for me to be an expert. But after I do those 500,000 tries, like I know exactly what will go wrong. I know everything that will go wrong because I've done it. Um, and that's why I was a pretty good teacher. When I do critiques with other students' work, I was like, I've done everything you've done, I've done already in triplicate, and so I know what will go wrong to some extent. I have an idea what could go wrong because I've done it. Because I'm a super hard learner. It takes me twice, three times, four times as long as everyone else. Like I think I talked about this before. I never learned cursive as a kid because I was just so darn slow at it. Um, that they're like teachers are like we got to move on. They're looking at the clock. They're like, dude, you're still on A. Everyone is at Z and they're writing full sentences. I know, but the A's gotta get that A curve. Gotta get that curve just right, bro. It's like, the teacher's like, yeah, you're not going to get this done anytime soon. And so they're just like, you know cursive now. I'm like, I don't know cursive. And so that's how slow I was. And I at the time I didn't know. Yeah. At the time I didn't know that it would take me, that I was just like really slow at learning things, you know? And it was kind of like, unfortunately, it was very disheartening because, when you're in school, people like, kids that age are like, "You're dumb. You can't learn things." I'm like, and you start believing it, And it sucks that that was the case, because I was one of those kids that it just takes me so much longer than everyone else to learn things. But at the end of the day, after I learn it, I know it. Everyone else will learn it, and they like learn it and forget it, and then they learn it and they become average. I learn it, I become extraordinary because I had to do all of it over and over again. But like, it takes me forever, you know. So like, even after doing a hundred of these cactuses, um, like, they're better than their first one. Don't get me wrong, they're better than their first one. Um, and they're just getting better. And the reason why they're getting better is, well, I've gotten faster, but also I'm spending a little bit more time now, especially on this last day. I'm spending more time. I have some free time. I'm gonna probably cut it off soon, but I have some free time. So they're getting better because I'm spending more time on them, but also they're getting better because I've done almost 100 of them, and I've really started to understand this particular brush that I'm using, which is it's like a special texture brush that I got from from wherever, but it's got like a special, it's a unique texture. And at the end of the day, I can say that I'm pretty good at it now. But man, when you're a kid and you're drawing, or you're a kid and you're trying to learn math, or cursive and stuff, and people just, you feel like a loser, because everyone else is like getting it and you're not. Oh my gosh, it's the worst. It's the worst. Uh, the thing that's helped, the good thing about that is what it's done for me, and what people should probably extrapolate from this, is that some people develop and build skills slower than others. And yes, that sucks. I get it. It sucks that it takes some people a lot longer than others to get acquire a skill. It sucks. It takes me forever. Um, but bear in mind, but the thing is, when you get that skill, like, for me, when I get that skill, as in I've improved at this drawing, I have a lot to show for it. I'll have 100 drawings, while someone else who takes them 5 drawings to get this good, they only have 5 drawings. For me, I'll have 100 drawings. That's 100 drawings that I didn't have. Yeah, it is. It's great to have patience, and I think it's a very undervalued skill. I think people want things too quickly, and the iPhone and Android and all that stuff is kind of cheating people sometimes, to an extent. It's making them think that you can get things quicker. And also, you hear all these. You go on YouTube, you see like these like under 18-year-old kids become millionaires, like slinging stuff, selling slime on their Instagram. You're like, gosh darn, man, they're selling slime and they're a millionaire, you know? Or they're what that was. Yeah, yeah, thank you. They're millionaire and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm I'm projecting bad feelings. I shouldn't be. I'm not even upset. I'm not even upset. Sometimes people think that when I do these like rants, I'm upset. I'm not even upset. I'm actually very, 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 very happy for them. Maybe a little bit jealous, a little jelly, but I'm super happy, because you got to think about this. Like, it's a flippin' amazing. Like, if I were to do what they were doing as a kid, like, oh, if I were to like say, "Hey mom, I'm selling slime now," and they're like, "Good luck," You know, I'd be lucky to sell a little bit of slime. Uh, but like kids today, they can sell slime and become millionaires. That is amazing. And no matter how like jealous I am about that, I I find it incredibly amazing that you can do that. I'm not really jealous, but like a little bit like, oh man, I wish I had $1 million. But I always thought that that's amazing that that is possible. Um, and it's so amazing. And I think there's a lack of insight with that. So this looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is the last grand finale, and that's basically what I do is I put some of the tones from the background onto the foreground. Um so like so case in point, like what I'm going to do here is right here in the shadows, I'm going to put like a dark purple here. And I'm going to put a dark purple here. So what that is that what you're taking is you're taking the shadows from the background and instilling them into the surface of the foreground element. So there's some unity there. So that's a little trick that I do. Um, never whenever you're like, so if you look at my face right now, you have that light. There's a light over here that's reflecting on my cheek here. It's making that blue tinge because the light is blue, right? So the light is blue. It's making my face a little bit blue here. It wouldn't be a white light doing that and making a white tone. That's what I'm doing here, but only with shadows and to some degree some of the highlights. So I'm basically creating reflective light, reflective shadows in this area. So what I'll do is I'll go here, take a tone here, and I'll add a little bit of purple. See, just a little bit, not a lot. Kind of just like brushing it over a little bit, brushing the color tones here, so that there's a little bit of purple. And I don't get too heavy with it. Just kind of play around with that. I'm going to do the same thing here, add a little bit of the purple, right? Add a little bit of like purple right here. And some right here. And then we're going to add some like purple like tones for highlights. Just a little bit. Just a little bit right here. Right? Not a lot, just a little bit. And for the yellow, this is going to be fun. We're going to add some yellow. Some yellow tones right here. Yellow works really good. If you have a yellow background like this and you put it on highlights, it works really good. It just blend, especially with the green tones. I think that's why it works really good. With all these other colors, I find that it's very difficult to kind of blend them in. But with yellow, it just works so much better, I guess, because it's similar to the green tone, and it's just like I don't remember what it's called. There's a term for it where the color that's next on the color wheel that they're like, I don't remember what the name for it, but it's basically a term for basically saying that the color that's next to the color on the color wheel, and they're like relative color relatives or something like that. I don't know. Perhaps I should look that up. So we're having it's been this is a good one. This one's turning out pretty good. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I might get worried about the I will get worried a little bit worried about the thorns. I've always had trouble with the thorns here in the past. All right, so as you can see a little bit of purple, a little bit of purple in the shadows, a little bit of purple. What I'm going to do now is on some of the dark tones here, we're going to add some yellow. So a little bit of yellow here. So some yellow in the dark tones here, maybe a little bit right here. Not a lot. I'm not going, you know, I'm just doing a little bit. I don't want to go overboard. And partially when I go slow like this is partially to kind of stop myself from overdoing it. Because with this reflective light stuff that I'm playing around with, I find that I could easily go overboard with it. I can easily like just over go way, way overboard with it and make it um, just too intense. You know, you don't want all that color intensity there, you know. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow in these areas. And that really helps. And a little bit of yellow right here. Look at that. And maybe like a yellow tone right here in this little area. There you go. And there's my cactus. We got a little bit of color. There we go. Very nice. What you don't know is this cactus, all that cactus, I've been, those tones are, there's like 9 layers to make this cactus. You can't see it, but I did 9 layers just to make all those tones and gradients there. So that is done. We're done. Now we're going to do the thorns, call it a day, sit back and relax, and have a quiet evening. So I don't know how I'm going to do the thorns. I worry that I'm going to mess it up because I always tend to go overboard with them. And that's just how it is for me, right? It's how it is. It is what it is. So what I might do is we're going to I'm going to go slow. I typically go slow. I'm going to be very sparing with the amount of thorns I use. I say that, and then all of a sudden I start going. Can't do all those thorns. So I'm going to try to be sparing with the application of thorns. I think what I might want to do is kind of like vary the angle or vary the scale of them a little bit. This vary the scale of the thorns a little bit like this. Just not really going too intricate, right? Just kind of, yeah. Maybe make a long one, maybe make a small one, a long one, small one. They kind of look. Whenever I do thorns, it reminds me of like stubble on like a cartoon face. Whenever you see like a cartoon and someone who hasn't shaved in a comic book or in a cartoon, they like do little really like these thick whiskers. So that's what it reminds me of when I do these thorns. It's like, oh, I'm just giving my cactus like a 5 o'clock shadow, you know. It's like this cactus needs to invest in some Dollar Shave Club or was it Henry's or Harry's shaving service or Gillette. So I'm getting a little bit tight, going a little bit overboard with the thorns here, but that's fine. That's not like abnormal. Actually, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll look at the amount of thorns I put on it. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't a lot of thorns. That was just the right amount. I always think that I'm putting way too many thorns. And I always think they're in the wrong direction. You know, it's always been that way. There's never been like, I never had like a happy medium when I was doing thorns on these cactuses. I never found like, oh, this is the right amount. You know, this is the amount of thorns you want to do. This is the perfect amount of thorns that need to be placed on your cactus to make it feel good, like a perfect cactus. You know, there we go. There we go. And we're gonna put a little bit right here. I know you don't see those thorns because the top area is black, but it's the thought that counts, and it's important to at least be consistent with how you execute your thorns. You know, it'd be easy not to draw those thorns up there because you're really not going to see them in the whole scheme of things. But you know what? Being consistent with the execution, I feel, is important to the overall outcome of your drawing. And really, what is a good skill set that everyone probably needs, or every artist needs, really, is just be consistent. You know, get really good at becoming consistent, and that's something that I struggle with. The reason why is I've kind of talked about this. I've talked about this. I told you like 10 minutes ago, like 30 minutes ago, where I need to do things over and over again to really understand them. And so like until I do them enough times, I don't understand them enough to be consistent. All right. As I said, I typically go overboard with the thorns. But if you actually look at a cactus, they're covered in thorns. That's all they are. Like the whole thing is like thorns, like thousands and thousands of thorns. So I think when all is said and done, this is like child's play, right? There's really nothing there. Although they take way too long. Partially because I'm like locking my knuckles. I'm locking them in. Like I have a death grip on my stylus. And I'm probably pressing like 500 times, 500, like way too hard for the tablet. Like I shouldn't be pressing as hard on this tablet. I'm like probably digging little fissures into the pad there. All right, we're getting there. We're almost done. And even though you can't see the thorns in the shadow, I'm putting them in there because, as I said, you want to kind of just maintain consistency with the execution. Like even though you don't see those thorns in the shadow, like they're gone. They're disappearing, right? You don't see them. I think just having them there is a good thing to do because you're maintaining the process. And drawing is a lot about process. It's not just about being good at drawing. It's kind of like a formula, right? So it's basically a giant recipe. So here's my cactus. Whew! All right, man. That was a long one. I did not expect it to last for an hour. I find that these last few ones have been getting longer and longer. But that is it. Day 200 of 200 days of drawing. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. That's why if you saw that like brief pause, it's because I'm a little emotional. There's like some emotions rising up right now. Like for real. I got some heavy emotions happening. Uh some heavy emotions. All right. What color do I want to use for the signature? I like pink. I like pink. We're going to use pink. Pink, 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 pink. I like pink. I like pink. Yes, I do. What if I use black? Should I use black? No, we're going to go pink. I'll use black next time. Pink, pink, pink. All right. P21. What? What's happening here? Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? 200. Out of 200. Whoo! Oh, I feel like someone on a video game that just beat their game on like ultra hard. You know, like I feel like, oh, I finally beat the boss. Oh my gosh. That's what I feel like right now. All right. Well, man. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Wow. Wow, it has been a trip. I just want to say thank you everyone that's been watching. It has been a long journey, but I have done 200 days straight. I went from drawing still lifes in the background. This is day 100 right here, or 99. This is day 99. I started doing cactuses on 100, but this is day 99, and I did my first cactus on 100. And then today is 200, so that's the end of this chapter. Next chapter, I believe I'm going to be doing skies. I'm going to be doing happy clouds. I'm going to be doing floaty clouds. Just little happy clouds with probably a horizon line, so there's like it feels like it's a landscape, and then I might get more detailed from there. But first, we're going to stick to clouds and then move on progression and add more like details and progression from there. So that's why you see these cactuses do what they're doing. There's a lot of changing between each one. So this is really nice. There's been a lot of growth in this. I'm really quite proud that the first one and this one is completely different. You have a great week. Good night. Thank you. Yes, it's took a hundred of these to get to this point, and I'm going to have to. I still have to do 3 more because I want to get a complete 100 cactuses. I only did like 97 cactuses because I veered off and did 3 trees and I didn't like doing the trees, so I went back to doing cactuses. So I got to do 3 more outside of this, and that's going to be another goal. Yes, Pink. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful night. This is Pierson. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world. See you tomorrow for day 201 of 300 days of drawing. We're going to draw skies. So stupid. All right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. I got to get going. This is Pierson. Cheers.